Dan here for Six Towns Radio. I am with Tony Maudsley, Jake Canuso, better known from Benidorm as Kenneth and Matteo. They're currently here at the Regent Theatre in Stoke in Benidorm Live. Thank you very much for joining me in your dressing room. Thank you very much for allowing me to come into your dressing room.
Pleasure. There's not much room, is there?
It's nice. I'd like to call it comfortable.
It's compact and bijou.
Cosy.
Yeah, and
Cozy.
that's because there's 6 principal cast and there's only ever one main #1 dressing room.
Yeah.
So we take turns, and this week I'm number 5, so I'm pretty low down the ranks. Jake's number 4.
Tony started off as #1.
I started off as number 1, so I'm
How
slowly
did you
climbing back up
decide?
again.
Was it balls out of a bag?
No. We just it doesn't really matter who goes first, but it goes on rotation. But Adam Gillen, lucky git, has got the #1 in Dublin, which is the best dressing room on the tour.
Is it?
So just by chance he's lucked out and got the best one.
So is it kind of like the dressing room politics? Did you kind of not talk to him now for like the whole run of that? You just can't talk to him.
We don't talk to him, but we use his fridge and all his facilities.
We pretend we don't care, but the first thing we do when we get to the theatre, we're going to have a snoop around.
Have a snoop
#1.
around. He's got
Have a look at the dressing room.
Yeah.
I like that story. The first question that I've written down was, I'm not going to spoil anything for the show, but how many socks do you wear on stage?
2.
For 6 pairs.
6 pairs. There we go.
During the whole show.
And now I know what you mean.
That was 6 pairs during the whole show. No, sorry, not 6 pairs.
Just
1, 2, 3, 4 pairs during the whole show. Yeah.
During the whole show. So
Yeah.
there we go. That's the hidden tip there.
Yeah,
for
what you should have said was 1 sock.
Yeah, that's what it should have been. It should have just been one. Going from such an iconic TV show, it's been running for decades. A decade the show has, and to take it through a decade, it's been running for decades. For a decade, it's been running. Going from screen, which you can get closer to the characters you feel, that to then put it on stage where you've then got to make the characters, if it's possible, bigger whilst you're on stage. What was that like for you guys? Because you've got quite, like, your characters are quite big anyway. To put that onto a stage, what was that like to?
For me, I have to say, it was surprisingly easy. The transition, because we didn't know how that would work too. How's that going to work? I mean, sometimes we have to play really small when you've got a camera 6 inches from your face, but generally we're all quite big characters anyway. So I think we slightly felt like we were off the leash, didn't we? And we really enjoyed it and kind of went for it. And it just kind of worked.
I think we have to be less aware than we would be on television. That, you know, just small things like gesticulating. If you've got the camera on you, you can't sort of wave your hands around because it's sort of popped into shot. So
and keeping your head still on TV and stuff, like, things like that we don't have to worry about anymore. So it's actually easier.
It's a lot more freedom in some way, really, I think. Also, it's, you know, the whole thing about being on stage and it being live is it's different every time, so you don't have to necessarily repeat what we do on television, where you become very conscious on this word, I put my hands in my pocket, this is why this, where here you can just, you know, every night
we don't have to worry so much about continuity, so there's a lot less to think about.
Do you prefer then the stage version of Benidorm or the screen version of Benidorm?
I love the screen version. I've always, as an actor, always preferred working on camera. I just find it more truthful, but bringing Benidorm to the stage has shocked me how much love we're feeling from the audience for the show, because we don't normally feel it. We go home after 4 months in Benidorm, it comes on telly, then we go back and film another one. And we don't get a hell of a lot of feedback really, but here, I mean, the love that we get from that audience is just massive, isn't it?
Was that one of the things that shocked you the most, was just how, not well received the stage show has been, but because, obviously, like you said, you're doing TV and you don't get that laugh, or you don't get, you know, where people, you can't continue with a line because it is, people are aching. Did it surprise you, the differences, like the major differences from it, and go, oh, I wasn't expecting a laugh?
Absolutely, and also what we found is things that we all found very funny as a group that's known each other for 10 years, things that we found very funny in the rehearsal rooms, didn't get a laugh at all. So a lot of the laughs were big surprises, weren't they?
Yeah, I think you know, it's clear that the script is doing the work in that sense. It's very much like Tony says, we laugh at certain things because we're familiar with it, we know each other, but you know, there are really funny bits that we're so used to as well. We've done similar things so many times, we don't notice anymore, and you get these laughs, and it's nice.
We're privy to the private jokes, which the audience aren't, so they don't laugh at our private jokes.
Yeah.
They don't understand them, but the jokes that were meant and were written for them by Derren, we're like, oh wow.
What interests me most about that, and it was kind of what I wanted to ask about the script writing process, or the building of the characters for stage. It's very accessible for people who haven't watched Benidorm as well. So you don't have had to have watched the TV show for the 10 years it was on telly. You can just turn up to the theatre, buy your ticket and enjoy what is a good comedy show about Brits abroad. That's
I think Derren was very mindful of that when he wrote it. That was one of the things he had to get right, because of course not everybody's seen the TV show, but there are regular theatre goers. There are friends at the theatre that might fancy this bawdy British comedy, but they're not familiar with these characters of the show at all. From what we're hearing, we're meeting lots of people at stage door going, oh my god, we've never seen it before, when I want to go onto Netflix and watch 10 years worth of Benidorm, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it sort of stands on its own, doesn't it, really, as a show. It very clearly has a beginning and an end, and it has loads of references to, various characters, locations, all that from over the series, but it doesn't affect
and I think it's very
someone
clear
new at all.
I think as each one of us arrives on stage, it's very clear who we are. He's very clear in that.
It was interesting to see the faces of people who I'd overheard say, "Oh, I've not watched Benidorm," I'm a bit kind of concerned, and then also on the flip side, for the people who have watched the 10 years of Benidorm, they can kind of go, I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, and even they would kind of go, it's a continuation of what we saw on telly, and that's
I think from what we can gather, they are getting exactly what they want. They're not even disappointed. We wish they'd have had that. We wish we'd have had that. Of course, there's 17 cast in Benidorm, so they've got 6 of us. So that's a disappointment for some of them. Maybe their favourite character's not one of the 6. But generally, we think people are going home with a full belly.
You can't ask, as an audience member, you can't ask for more from the whole cast, not just the 6 characters that have come across from TV. But you can't ask for more, because you kind of go, everything has happened, and you sit there going, I don't know what possibly I could want any more from this. I think
there's so much. I tell you what, we really notice is the sort of warmth and love for the whole show in the theatre. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like, as an audience, and from the moment the theme tune comes on, there's just this love for the show, and they follow the story straight away from the first characters who turn up, Ben and Sophie. So there isn't like this feeling, you can hear in the audience, they get involved straight away, they cheer straight away. They don't just
the theme tune.
They don't just wait for us to turn up, which is really nice, because it means they're listening, they're watching, they're following the whole story, and therefore you get involved with each character. So
you mentioned the theme tune, and that's almost, you could see people relaxing. So this might be some people's first time coming to a theatre, coming to watch a show on stage, and that's quite. I don't know if I wasn't really expecting I don't know what I was expecting, but you can kind of go, it's. So I'm comfortable. I get it. It is familiar, and then the introduction of the characters and introduction of the roles of each. With the characters, how much freedom do you get to kind of take the script and go, even though obviously Derren would know exactly what the character would, but you can kind of go, actually, I want to do this with on stage. So
no, we don't. No, it's very scripted, and we're very faithful to the script.
Yeah.
For theatre, it was a different process in that the theatre process evolves during a 4-week rehearsal period. So things did change, and Derren would come in and he would alter bits, or we would do bits, he goes, that's not working, I don't like that, or the director would say. So the script definitely evolved. The script that we have now is a little bit different than the script we had 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Whereas on television, there's no time for any of that. You get your script, you learn your lines, you go and you shoot it, and then the next one comes in. So it was different in that process, and we can make suggestions, just say, this is not working. But generally, we're pretty faithful to Derren's script. Yeah, people think we ad-lib a lot, we don't.
Because it feels like
we have a freedom.
It's like a freedom of the characters.
I think that's what comes with being in the show for 10 years. We have that freedom.
You kind of think as that character, and it's almost
also
like...
Derren knows us well enough. He also writes for the character, he writes for us.
Yeah.
He knows our speech patterns. He knows, like Kenneth's character, Tony, it seems that, there's a lot of stuff that seems like it's just off the cuff and improvised. That's all part of knowing what Tony can do with the character. So it's all kind of, it is a collaboration.
It is, I mean,
because
we find that bits of our own personal lives, because we're all friends as well, obviously, of Derren and of each other, so you suddenly find something that's happened in your real life the night before, suddenly ends up in a...
You start questioning it.
Hang on!
I'm going to have to stay away from him whilst he's writing, because what's going on here? Let's talk about the costumes. I mean, throughout the show, some can be quite revealing. I think it's fair to say, if you've not seen the show yet, I mean, it's going to be worth. Let's just say it's going to be worth it. But with the costumes, obviously, because it comes from the TV show. When it was pitched to you, the character of Kenneth and what Kenneth would be wearing and the stuff that Matteo would be in, Jake, do you kind of go, oh dear, I've got. Let's just rethink what I've got to wear here.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm going to take a lot of credit for what Kenneth wears because Kenneth didn't really arrive with a look. I kind of got the job, and I knew he was a new character that was going to be created. So I arrived with quite a few things for Kenneth, and
suitcase full of
yeah. Yeah, I had a very clear idea of what I wanted him to be. Yeah. It's whether they let you go with that. On the very first day's filming, they put me in a pair of shorts, and my first day's filming, it was at the pool, and I remember they said, "Oh, it doesn't look right. That's the shorts, they're not right." And I said, "Well, I've got this little pair of denim underpants that I bought in H&M," and they said, "Let's have a look." So I went and got them out of my bag, and the hot pants were born. They happened from that day. I brought 2 t-shirts, 2 slogan t-shirts with me. The first one was "Up Yours or Mine," and the other one I can't remember what it was. I remember it was red. And I said, and I've also got these, and the slogan t-shirts were born. They stuck with it.
And I like how it's...
Also, Tony goes and buys all the accessories for Kenneth, the little earrings, the necklaces, the glasses, little bags, things like that.
So you just add to the character.
Yeah, he's got a little collection of stuff. And
I like how it's just so much a part of Kenneth. It's not really referenced. It's just you accept it as oh, that's Kenneth. And you don't go...
It's very inappropriately dressed man.
But you don't kind of... It's not referenced in the script. It's not referenced by any character. It's more...
And when it's wrong, I know it's wrong. I mean, we had a couple of new costume designers throughout the 10 years, and they like to come and put their own stamp on, and one in particular just got it completely wrong, and she said, "I think we need to cover him up, less flesh." And I was like, so I had to go with it because she was new, and I just fought against it. I said, "I'm sorry, the minute we start apologising for Kenneth having flesh on show, we've lost the character."
I think that was very clear right at the beginning from your first sort of arrival in the script in series 4.
Yeah.
He's very unapologetic.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know, and I think that's the genius.
Derren actually said that to me. He said, "Never let him apologise."
Yeah,
I said, "Don't you ever dare apologise for Kenneth having flesh on show."
It's testament to the show as well that it has got the big characters, the caricatures of the people that you do see whilst you are abroad, and it isn't a case of, "Oh, I find that really offensive." It's kind of go, "Oh, I can appreciate that," and it's an art rather than being, let's dig at those people, let's make fun of them. It is art of each and every character and how you see them grow.
I think Benidorm was very much about never making fun of anyone, whether it's the characters that we play, the holiday makers, the place itself.
Because those people exist. You know, people, you say to me, "You'd never meet a gay man like Kenneth," and I was like, "Come on, take my hand. I'll take you and meet 10 Kenneths that I know."
Yeah, you know absolutely. I mean?
So that was a massive part, obviously, as well for the character. You got told it instantly, like, we're not here to take the mick.
I don't think we got told that. I just think Derren never wanted to, because he's one of them. We're one of them. Do you know what I mean? We're all of that sort of class of people, and we don't want to stand there taking the mick out of that group of people. We are one of them, and we love Benidorm and we love everything. We throw ourselves into the mix, but we don't go and stay in a posh hotel on the outskirts. We're in there every night, aren't we? And
of course,
having fun with them, right in the mix. Yeah.
It's good for character development.
Absolutely, it's research.
Let's talk about the TV show. When you found out it ended, was that whilst you were filming, or was it a case of it was a possibility it might have come back for another series?
Any show that's 10 years old, there's always a possibility that it's going to end. We didn't find out. We were kind of led to believe that it was going to happen again. We were going to do series 11, so we were like, brilliant, that's a bonus. When we did find out, we were really disappointed because our viewing figures have been higher than they've been for 3 years. So I still don't quite understand ITV's thinking. Especially, I think if ITV come and watch this show, I think they might kick themselves and realise they've made one hell of a mistake. Personally, I don't think the show's ready to finish. I think it had a couple more years, but we're not bitter. We had the best time making it. 10 years is a phenomenal run for any show.
Well, it's like the first few years. We always, you know, with the first year, and then we went like, "Oh, it would be nice to do a second year," and it didn't come from sort of an actor's sort of ego of wanting to earn more money and just work. It was just, we had such a great time, then every year was added to it, that we just had a better time and a better time. So any time, even later on, you know, we were just saying like, "Oh, let's have one more year, please, one more year. So you kind of hope it, and then you maybe take a little bit for granted at one point. And you go, oh, we're going to have another. Oh, no, we're not.
Yeah. Funnily enough, since we started doing this, because we haven't filmed together for a year, is it? So since we've been doing this, it's kind of hit me more. The clock's ticking, and it is coming to an end in April, isn't it? And I'm starting to feel slightly bereft. And I said to Adam Gillen last week, these are the last lines we'll ever say as Kenneth and Liam. And it has suddenly started to hit me that we won't go back to that place where the 17 of us go every year that's so familiar. And
well, it is like a home, isn't it? We're just, you know, more or less half our year was spent there.
I mean, you can see like it's a family between all of you, and not just obviously the TV show, but when you come back onto the stage and you can see like you've got a working relationship, but it is also now a personal one that has grown over those years, and we're
a very dysfunctional family, but we're all very, very protective of each other. Yeah, exactly. So we're very real. I mean, our TV family ranges from ages 7 years old up to 87 years old, and everything's in the mix. You know what I mean? And we are all very protective over each other, and I do feel sad that I'm about to lose that family. Yeah.
Did you take anything from the set when you got told it was the last time?
I'm not sure I should tell you this.
Oh, it's alright, nobody's filming.
Yeah, I've got the, do you know the blow and go lit up sign over the salon?
Have you? Yeah. How did you manage to sneak that?
I had a little word in the ear of the designer, and yeah, I've got that in my basement.
Just visions of you just like taking it like under your arm and just like loads of clothes.
No, it's quite big.
These costumes are winning.
No, it was shipped home for me, so I've got that as a permanent. Yeah, my basement has also got a little name on it. The title's called Kenneth's Hole.
Has it? Brilliant.
Which is a little homage to Kenneth, yeah.
Brilliant.
My costumes on it fit in a back box as big as that.
You can put it in your pocket.
That's how little there are. And I think I've got one of. I think I've got. I got the dress from when I Matteo dressed up as a woman. Still got that.
Have you?
Yeah, I got that.
Do you wear
to auction it? Yeah, all the time. To auction it off one night.
Auction it or wear it?
Auction it. No, I don't think it'll fit me. It's very. That's very short, very small.
You mentioned obviously this run of the tour ends in April.
Yeah.
What would you like to see next from Benidorm or Benidorm Live?
As
character, if you were to go on, or if they went. Oh,
I would love us. Derren is very, very reluctant, but because he didn't get a chance to wrap up the show with another series, I would love to persuade him to do a movie. He's very reluctant, but I would love that. I think we'd all love that, wouldn't we?
I think it's
like
one of the most asked questions.
Or like a TV movie, like a long episode.
Whether it was a TV movie but just something to give him a chance to finish it properly.
Yeah, because like you said, he didn't get that chance to kind of.
He's always said that for years. He just said, "I hope they don't finish us when we're in between filming the series." He said, "I hope they say this is your last one, and I get to finish it properly." And he never got to do that.
Yeah. If it
That'd be really. Could you imagine the last day of filming of that?
I know.
That would be heartbreaking. Yeah, really. Yeah. I mean, it's always emotional anyway, but that'd be really emotional. No, that is definitely because even now it's really strange. You kind of, I still have this thing going, well, it's not quite the end.
Yeah.
No, I still can't quite believe it. I mean, we don't know. I mean,
hopefully
the live show has been so successful. I'm sure that set cost a few quid, so I'm sure they might want to use it more than once. Well, we just don't know.
Like you said, hopefully they look at the audience for the stage show, and there's definitely a need, there's definitely a want, and if you look on Twitter, I'm guessing you guys get mentions all the time saying, oh come on, but surely this isn't going to be the last one, and you can see Derren replying going, no, it is. Like honestly, accept it. We've had to accept it. So hopefully somebody kind of goes, we've made a bit of a mistake here, and swallows their pride. I think that's what they need to do. People of Stoke-on-Trent, you've got until this Saturday, to come and see Tony and Jake in Benidorm Live. Why should people come and see Benidorm Live here at the Regent Theatre? No pressure.
Because winter's about to kick in, life's about to turn miserable and drab. Do you know what I mean? Come and see these pretty faces, and we will brighten up your week no end. And I promise you, you will go home with a belly full of laughter.
I see a lot more than their faces.
Absolutely.
A lot more, a lot more. I think it's come and see it just because it's 2 hours of really, really good fun. You will not regret it. You know, whatever goes on in your life, whatever worries there are, whatever is going on, I think it disperses. It just gives you. You know what it is, in a funny way. Even though we're not literally bringing the sunshine, although we have brought the sunshine stuff.
We have, haven't we? Yeah.
Clearly for the rest of the week, but it is like bringing sunshine into your life for those 2 hours.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I mean, if this is our swan song, and if you've been a fan of the show for the last 10 years, this is your chance to come and say bye bye.
Come and have a laugh with us.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll go make people feel really depressed though when it gets to the end. The last scene, like the last scene, you go, oh god. Yeah. You just have people crying instead of clapping. That's what it's going to be. Get your ticket from atgtickets.com/Stoke. Tony, Jake, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.